Welcome to our segment on the Nevada Green Business Network. We are a coalition of organizations that came together to offer a statewide green business certification program. We work with small to medium businesses to recognize efforts that save energy and water, reduce waste, prevent pollution and stormwater impacts, and encourage sustainable transportation options. Our hope for the program is to educate and assist businesses in these areas and help the state transition to a green economy. To learn more about the program, you can visit nvgreenbusiness.org or click here to watch a short video about the network.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Greening Nevada. I'm Erica Gallegos and I have the opportunity today to sit down with someone who's achieved Tier 3 Innovator status in our Green Business program. I'm here with Jenelle Stathes, who is the owner and founder of Nevada Roots, her tree service business, and she runs this with her husband Mark out of their home office in Reno. Thank you for being here, Jenelle.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Me too. Can you just tell us a little bit more about what Nevada Roots does, what services you provide, and how it came to be?
So we provide tree services to the Reno Sparks community. Essentially, that's trimming, removals, some treatments. It's really just kind of working on our urban landscape and making sure that trees around residential properties and homes are safe for the homeowners and the community.
What would you say kind of makes your business unique in this industry?
Mostly, I would say our commitment to our community. There's several tree services in the area. Most of them are much bigger than we are. But with that being said, we pay a lot of focus and attention to our customer care. Mark and I are both born and raised in Reno, so somebody knows somebody who knows us. Absolutely. Or who we grew up with, or, oh, my dad and your dad or whatnot. It kind of makes it so that if we don't do a good job, somebody's going to hear about it. So our integrity in our community means a lot to us. Our name, Nevada Roots, means a lot to us.
Absolutely.
So we try to make sure that the work that we do and our customer care really reflects that.
Nevada Roots has achieved Innovator Tier, which is our most advanced tier in the program. And that's not an easy thing to do for any business, especially a two-man crew. So can you tell us a little bit about some of the best practices you have in place, kind of at the home office building level, but also out in the field?
When we started Nevada Roots, like the idea became, felt real. One of my biggest concerns was our social responsibility, and that this was going to, previously, personally, we donated and we tried to be active in our community, but I saw a business as a way of increasing that visibility and really kind of having an avenue for drawing more attention to that social responsibility within our community. So the first and foremost was the Northern Nevada Rave Family Foundation is very near and dear to my heart. I was with Rave for about 15 years, and they provide respite to families caring for children with special needs. And family and community is so important to us personally and as a business, so we knew that we wanted to kind of support Rave as much as we could. And the second piece of that was supporting Keep Truckee Meadows Beautiful, because as a tree service, environment is also important to us. It's something that we want to raise our kids to prioritize.
Right.
So right off the bat, Rave and KTMB were high priorities for us to make sure that we were including in our social responsibility. So from that, I had a friend who worked at KTMB at the time, and so she got us into the Adopt-A spot, and I was like, oh, so great. This is wonderful. So that was kind of our first path with our environmental and sustainable practices.
Right.
And then her husband became a board member for KTMB, and he came to us and was like, there's this new program, and I think you guys are a perfect fit. And so as soon as he said that, I'm like, well, we have to have that. Like, we obviously need this certification because we like to do things right, and we like to do things that are good for our community. So, and then as we got into it, it was like, well, I have to achieve the highest tier because that's how we roll. We don't just do little, we've got to do it big. So we're really glad to have gone through the process and to have achieved the Innovator Tier.
I'm glad too. Can you talk a little bit about like your waste diversion? Because I think that's the most impressive aspect of your certification.
Again, when we first started and we knew that we were going to have a lot of green waste, there's another business owner who's a friend in town, and he does lawn services, and so I kind of picked his brain a little bit to see what they do with all of their green waste. And so he informed us about a composter out off Pyramid Highway, and so immediately it was like, that's where we got to go. This is going to be the most environmentally friendly practice that we can do, as opposed to just putting it in the dump in a landfill or something. So from the get-go, that's where we started diverting all of our green waste, was to RT Donovan out on Pyramid Way. And we were really happy with that practice. Since then, we have purchased a wood chipper, which was a really big deal for us. It was a really big piece of machinery. But now we're able to not only continue to take all of our green waste out to the composter, but because of the chipper, we have less fuel, or we have more fuel efficiency, because we're taking less trips out there by being able to chip up the waste before we get to the composter.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Outside of kind of your field practices, because I know you use, non-toxic pesticides and sprays and all of that. What about like at the home office? Because we asked you to do quite a bit at home, since you didn't have like an office building.
Right.
What are some of the improvements that you made at home?
We made sure that, which we had done years ago with LED light bulbs, which was so funny. I was reflecting, like, gosh, I remember at home, like growing up, having to change this one light bulb in the hall all the time, or it would just be out. And it's like, I don't even remember the last time we changed a light bulb. But we made sure that all of our light fixtures had LED lights. We did replace in our bathroom next to my home office the shower head and the faucet, which again was not something that I had really even previously thought of. Right. But as far as like water consumption, it just made so much sense. We also made sure that any paper materials that we were using were 100% recycled. Well, we don't use paper towels for the business, but we use them at home occasionally, when our cloth napkins are all in the wash or something.
So as a tree service business, like what are some of the environmental challenges that you face in that industry? And then what are some just challenges that your business in particular has to muddle through?
We get calls to spray trees, and that is something that we just don't do, period. We offer alternatives to spraying. There's a safe soap that anybody can buy on Amazon even, that we offer as an alternative, or just other products that kind of decrease the amount of chemicals that need to be used. Additionally, if we're replanting a tree for someone, we always make sure to use organic materials, not only for the health of the tree, but just overall the health of the environment. Sometimes those are challenges because we will get those calls, and those are potential customers for us, and so and a lot of people are set in their ways, and it's like, no, this tree needs to be sprayed, and we're like, well, then we're not the one for the job for you. But we also get people that are like, oh, well, what else do you do then? And then that's when we get to step in and kind of inform that there is an alternative. Another challenge that we face sometimes is just with that paper use. So we do have some clients that just really need the paper in hand.
Right.
For either their quote or their invoice or their receipt. We try to stay digital, and we manage to keep that up at least 90% of the time, if not 95%. But occasionally we just get some customers that really need that hard copy.
So I know for you, the transportation category was a little difficult. What are some ways that you reduce your carbon footprint?
When we first started out as a business, we were so determined to be successful that, we would schedule Mark for quotes and jobs kind of all over town in different areas, all for the same day. So at, one point he might be way in deep South Meadows of Reno, at another point up in Northwest, at another point up in Spanish Springs, out in the Sparks area. And we quickly realized that not only was that not time efficient for us, but it was definitely not fuel efficient for us. So since then, we learned our lesson, and we've really tried to work to make sure that our appointments are kind of community-based. So by being able to do that and utilize that practice, we've been able to cut down on our fuel costs and our travel time, thus reducing our carbon footprint, because we're able to schedule a cluster of quotes or jobs at a time in the same communities or the same areas, where we're reducing our travel time and we're reducing our carbon footprint through less transportation.
You clearly have these core values already in your business model. What pushed you to actually achieve Green Business certification?
I think that it was really just being able to say, we're this kind of business, I think it's one thing to say, or, put on a website, or like, we care about the environment. But then I think it's another thing to be able to back it up and prove it and say, no, we care about the environment. Somebody gave us this piece of paper that says that the things that we do and our practices make us environmentally friendly and work on those sustainable issues. And that was what was most important to us, was
that third-party verification.
Yeah, that it's not just us saying it and, crossing our fingers and hoping that people believe us, but now we have this certification that says, no, really, we do these things.
We went through this whole process.
Yeah, you can look at all of the things, and we've checked all of these boxes.
Absolutely. So I think that's about it. Is there anything else you'd like our audience to know?
Most importantly, just our integrity means everything to us. And so our goal is complete customer satisfaction every single time. We don't have customers pay until they're completely satisfied with the work that we've done. So beyond our Green Business certification, we just really feel like our business itself really speaks to our integrity, and that means a lot to us.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Jenelle. Thank you for coming down. It's nice to see you face to face. I want our viewers to know that they can learn more about Nevada Roots at nvroots.com, and be sure to follow them on social media so you can stay up to date with their practices and their community outreach. If you're a business who's interested in becoming green certified, or you're just a viewer who would like to find more green businesses, you can visit nv.greenbiztracker.org.